Hello everybody. Sorry I am late. One thing after another around here, I tell ya. Sorry I am late. Okay, hang on. I can hear myself talking. Why? There we go. Like I try and mute all the things. YouTube and Behance start up without sound. And then, Facebook starts up with sound. It's all chaos. I don't know what's happening around here. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay, we're up and running. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. It's been so busy around here. I was on my way home from work and I was like, oh my God, you have to remember that you have your live tonight. It's not tomorrow, it's tonight. All right. All right. So here we are. Going to be working on this dragon. Okay, so for those of you who were not here last week, we worked on the heavy shadows. I was able to finish the little sectional shadows, and instead of going on to the highlights like I normally would, I went on to the heavy shadows because I was really I kept picturing them in my mind, and they were just kind of taking over my brain a little bit. So I wanted to put them in and really pop everything up here. And work on those, get them all ready to go. And then we added these to the whiskers, which is just like destroying. It's so good. It's so good. These are working out really well. Sorry, buddy. Did I pull your hair? I'm so sorry. Sorry, I got the death stare there. I pulled some fuzzies and he's getting the death stare. Sheesh. So we got some of that heavy shadowing down. There's also some sections that I wasn't too sure on how it was going to come out, so I figured it's better to find out now rather than later that it might not work out. But I think our sections are working okay. I think I was a little worried that the little bit on top of his eyes was not really going to play the game. I was worried that it was going to be a little bit too big, but I think it's actually working out really well. I don't think I have to break it down much further, but we can always add more shadows, I guess. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is some of the highlights. We're going to work on those because I think we have most of the really big shadows down. Then now I'm going to put in some highlights. Excuse me. And then we're going to kind of go back and forth and see what we need from there. So to do those, is all of this shadow? Oh my goodness gracious. Look at them all. Holy. No, don't undo it. Okay. So I need a new layer is what I need. What is happening? A new layer. And we want it to be an overlay layer. Now let me just check and make sure. I did do different colors. Okay, phew. I almost had a little heart attack thinking I didn't change the colors on the shadows, which is what I've been talking about this whole time. Big revelation 2 illustrations ago, and then to not do it on the dragon. Come on. But no, we're good. Phew. Okay. So just like I did with the shadows, I think I'm going to start with doing the highlights on the red part, like the main part of the dragon, because there's so much of it that I really want to start there and there's so much of it, so we'll find out sooner rather than later that it's not working. So for my color, sorry, I hit the brush instead of the palette. Let's go to, there should be a pretty red dominant. That's what this one is, eh? So I'm just going to play around with a few brushes here and there. Or we'll just use the first one that we find. Let's see. I like the look of that one. That was a really good kind of color burn. Oh, come on, you. So this one, or I think the second one's playing with the shadows a little better. Okay, so let's get rid of both those and we'll stick with this one. And we're just going to keep throwing these down. So what I'm looking for there is I want a color, like a lighter color that's going to interact with the like the red that's underneath without dulling it down or like overtaking it too much. But I also do like that kind of glow that I got out of that brush and that color because I didn't want to because there's going to be a lot of glowing happening here. We're going to have a lot of different we've got the fire look, we've got the impact with just like the stained glass effect. So I do like the glow that we had there. So we're just going to start. I'll start in the main section again, just because again, if it's not going to work, we'll find out sooner rather than later that this what we're doing isn't working properly, and then we'll figure out. Hello, Mojo. Can you say hi to the peoples? Okay, so let's get going here. So I'm going to use my lasso tool and I'm going to put this on the other side of each of these sections, just like we did on the, oh, I'm going to have to bring this brush down. This is a very large brush. I was up doing the like 230 because that was the big dark shadows. I wrote them down. Look at me go. I'm going to remember what these numbers are. I wrote them down last week because I wanted to remember what brushes I was using. But I was like, I'm just going to find that piece of paper later and be like, what does 92 mean? Luckily, that's not happening right now. I know what's going on. So yeah, we're just throwing this down on the opposite side of, oops, we got to change this brush to 16. Okay, perfect. On the opposite side, just to give it that kind of like recessed kind of effect. And then we'll just kind of power through here. So what's everybody up to tonight? Is anybody illustrating with me? We had a bit of a work party yesterday. My boss is super awesome. Hosted a illustration party, and it was a lot of fun. It's fun to hang out with people from work, but outside of work. I'm not talking about work, surprisingly. I thought we were going to talk a lot of work stuff just because that's a thing we have all in common. But luckily we didn't fall into that, which was really nice. And so yeah, just hung out with some illustrators, which is so fun. What else have I done? It's been a really busy week. Went and saw some family this weekend. So that was very exciting. And then it's a bit of road trip happening. Bit of prep for the fall. I worked a little bit on some coloring book pages. So we do have, I think I dropped this on Instagram, so this isn't a spoiler, but we are going to have a new coloring book in the Hues and Tones shop this year. You can also get your hands on one from last year. I have a few different ideas for how to bundle those together. So those are coming. We also have a few other very exciting things coming to the shop. So if you're not following me on Instagram or Facebook, please follow me there because I have big plans for this year. And they're all coming together. I'm just really waiting on a couple more emails, a couple more responses, and a couple more tests. And we will be good to go. So keep an eye out on the shop for the coming weeks because when I launch things, it's going to be really soon. I'm just kind of like ironing out my timing now to make sure that I don't leave myself too late, but I also don't go too early because people aren't thinking about Christmas gifts yet. Oh, this is already coming out so nicely. Look at it go. Yes. Okay. I see that there's one little section here at the horn that I haven't done anything with. I think I wasn't sure how I was going to handle the shadows there. So I'm going to put in the highlight here just while I'm on a go, and then I'll put the shadow in again later. So yeah, so that's been kind of like taking up some time. The fall's gotten like all of a sudden really busy, which is great. I like to be busy, especially when I'm like inspired like I am. Like I feel like all bubbly and ready to do all the fun things. So it's a good busy right now. What else? Oh, it's not too bad. Okay, I was worried that the one section wasn't going to be very bright, but I think it's all good. Sure, everything's up and running. Yes. Perfect. Okay. For those of you who are just tuning in, again, I see the numbers going up here. Thank you for tuning in tonight. We are in Adobe Fresco tonight on the iPad. Working on our 2-month illustration. We're coming down to the last couple weeks. I have no idea how that happened. I feel like August was a nice steady month. I have no idea how I'm halfway through September already. That's a little bit nuts to me. A little nuts. But we're making good progress on this illustration, so I think we're still able to get it done on time. Stop doing that. You're not chicken wing, like Shannon would say. Don't hurt your feet. But I think we're in really good shape to get this done in time, and then we will be starting the next one, which I already have percolating. Look, this creative rhythm. Sheesh, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, it's kind of the best part about like some long road trips. I listen to some podcasts and listen to some books, but getting all these like creative inspirations going. So I was pondering the next illustration. I have a pretty good idea, and I think it'll be really fun. I'm going to try to incorporate a little bit of like movement into the stained glass effects. So we'll see how that works. Not like animation movement, I'm not there with Fresco just yet, but like not as much of a stale pose. Like everything we've had so far is very still. This one I'm kind of hoping won't look that way. But that's next month's illustration, so come back in a couple weeks for sure, because we'll be drawing that one up. So it's very exciting times. I like that overlay. See how like the highlight went over the shadow there? It almost looks like a little bit like fire. That's really starting the effect that I was kind of hoping to get at this point in the illustration. A little bit because I want to really kind of go big with that effect at some point. Like we're with some of like the bigger sections at the end, just kind of like our big shadows. I'm going to be putting some big lights in this one. I haven't really done that so much yet. So I'm excited to try that with this guy because he's got to be nice and fiery, this dragon. Hey, Buck. Who's this cozy man? This butcher. Okay. Oops. It's a boy. Coming together. Check it out. Oh, guys. I'm so excited. Safe. Always safe. All right. Oh my goodness, I've been so busy. What the heck else have I been working on? Yeah, just kind of like finalizing a lot of my different pieces and stuff. I haven't been to Open Studio. I didn't go last week. Taking a class at the local yarn store to learn crochet so I can expand my yarn usage. So I'm doing that almost every time they run that class. Like I just want to get it, I want to take it so that I can kind of get started on it. and get some basics under my belt, but almost every time they run it, I've been busy or it's a night that I'm doing something else. So this was one I could swing, so I did that. So I haven't been to Open Studio lately, but I imagine I'll be there very soon. Like I said, this creative energy is just like, this is the longest run I've had in a while. So I'm trying to encourage it and do what I can with it. Because I do anticipate that in the new year, because I'm like pushing so hard right now and I'm trying to do like shop updates and things, I anticipate that the new year, it's happened the past couple years, January, usually like February, March, I kind of hit a wall. So I'm going to try not to hit a wall, but maybe just kind of like slow down on some things and just experiment with some other things, like go into that collage stuff I was talking about, or just try something different that I want to do, or just kind of change media or something like that, just to make sure I don't get tapped out, but also don't keep running at this pace, because it's probably not sustainable. But it's fun. I'm creating a lot of fun things. It's actually kind of cool being in these kind of like creative to-do lists and things, because like I want stuff done on time and I want stuff done ahead of things to make sure that, you know, it's fitting the vision that I want. So it kind of feels like having this list of creative things, to like the art things to be going on, and to be like working on them, be like, okay, you're done a coloring book page, let's work on the dragon a little bit, let's back and forth. It kind of feels like student-y times without the all-nighters, which is like the perfect combo. It was fun in school. You have all these projects to work on, one after the other, but I'm also not all-nightering myself. I'm actually getting a medium night's sleep, which is awesome. Okay, oops. I think I put a brush there. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's all fun things. Make sure I can see all the comments. There we go. Hi, everybody. Oh, what's the matter with the mojo? You're such a silly guy. He went for a sleepover at a friend's house this weekend, so he's been snuggly guy ever since we got back. Don't leave me. Poor mojo. Oh my goodness gracious. It's Odari. How's it going, man? How was your birthday? Did you get my email that I sent you on your birthday? I had a art update for you. Oh my goodness. Don't worry about being late. We've got lots of highlighting to watch, so don't worry. You missed just a couple sections. It's okay. There's many more to do. What's the matter? You go play. Go boy. What else? It's hard to like go like crazy like this and then not have anything to say. It's just we're getting into like my season. We're getting into fall. We're getting into Thanksgiving. We're getting into all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm getting into my cozy routine here. Oops. Oh dear. Got too aggressive with that eraser. Yeah, so like I mentioned, I worked on a few of the coloring book pages on the weekend. So we've got a few more of those under our belts. It's actually kind of fun because I've got, like, I'm revisiting some from a couple years ago. Because I didn't build them in fresco like I did here. So the line art isn't kind of its own vector layer. So I'm kind of revisiting them and actually updating the line art so that it'll work in a coloring book. So it's actually kind of fun to revisit some of these illustrations and kind of remember the decisions I made and all that kind of fun stuff. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. Thank you. Awesome. It's not finished, obviously, but it's on its way. So I'm glad you're liking the direction that it's going in. We'll chat soon so we can maybe figure out any other notes you might have, etc. on that illustration. I'm responding to Adari's comment. So sorry, guys. I just started talking about that. It was Odari's birthday on Thursday, but we're collaborating. He's asked me to help him with something for his Moonstone project. So I just updated the illustration in time because I know he was going to work on the poster, or was hoping to work on the poster for his birthday. So I wanted him to have that in case he needed it. If he didn't, that's fine. But it was there in case it was needed. So, but I sent the email and then went on a huge long road trip across the province. So I didn't check in on emails and everything like that. If anybody's owed an email from me, just be patient. I'm catching up this afternoon. So sorry. Oh my goodness gracious. Zooming out. Guys. I love how the red comes out with this. I know we did a lot of we do a lot with the yellow and the papery patterns, but this is amazing. Can you just not do the thing? Come here, bud. Come here. Settle down. Thank you. That's a good boy. Just leave the neighbors be. Whoops. Oh dear. Got crazy with that lasso. Excuse you. Thank you. Still working on 2 more characters for the project. Awesome. I think I caught no live streams this weekend, but I think I watched the one where you were working on the mother character, and then I'm drawing a blank on who you drew next. You were doing 2 characters, but you were explaining the mother character. This is Odari's project again, guys. And I was I want to know more. I'm excited. I'm already excited to read this. I'm just watching the characters develop and I don't even know the story and I'm so excited. There's lots of characters, really interesting characters so far, guys. So if you haven't checked out Odari's live streams, maybe give them a shot because there's some very exciting storylines coming away. The grandmother. Sorry, yes, the grandmother, yeah. She was looking great last time I saw. So many fun characters. I love it. Oh dear. It's always fun to see what people are working on. I know there's some people that have been on the stream pretty regularly that do playing cards and things. And yeah, I really need to do a deck of cards at some point. I don't really have a fully formed idea, but I need to do a deck of cards at some point. I think maybe that'll be next year's project or something because there's so many fun ideas, and I think that this style would really lend to some pretty crazy playing cards. Gotta work out my idea. And at least they might be smaller things that you guys are watching these huge projects for weeks on end, but I really enjoy sharing them because you guys get to watch the whole build with me. It's so fun. And it also pushes me to get them done. Alrighty. I don't like that. Let's try this. So, Oops. So yeah, for like what we have upcoming, we have this illustration over the next couple weeks. And then we get into the next 2-month illustration, which will be October, November. And then I have one for Christmas. But it's going to be a smaller, less, well, the plans to be a smaller, less detailed illustration. This has escalated quickly. If you go into my Behance and you see where I started with the circus, and then when he got here, I'm hoping to keep December a little chiller so that, I don't burn myself out right before the holidays. But we have those 2 illustrations coming up. Inktober is coming up. I'm not certain I'm going to participate in my usual capacity for Inktober just because I have so much going on. But I did see someone comment last week because they launched they released the cues, the words, on September 1st. And I saw someone commented and they're like, it's still ink because I'm writing, but they were going to use them as writing prompts that's the eraser. Writing prompts instead of illustration prompts, which I thought was kind of really interesting because I'm already in my journal at least 1,000 times a day. It'd be kind of interesting to see if like you could branch out into kind of like a writing idea and then see if any kind of like creative potential comes out of those. So I was really excited about reading that comment, that maybe I'll try something like that. Maybe not every day, but maybe like every second day or one a week or something, just to keep the creative things flowing. I just think an illustration a day, with how big I anticipate this next illustration being, I think it's just going to be asking a little too much of my brain. I'm already just being careful with what I schedule in the fall. So I don't want to burn myself out with doing an illustration a day, but the writing was interesting. So maybe I'll try something like that because I always like Inktober. It's such a great creative outlet. It's so fun to see what people come up with. I think I have a blog post coming up in the next couple of weeks about it because it was in prep for it. So keep an eye out there. If you're not already like following my blog posts, please find it on WordPress. I'm trying to think of what the blog name is. Oh, now I gotta check. Hang on. It is huesandtones.home.blog. You haven't been missing much lately. I haven't been able, I just haven't been really writing inspired lately. I have lots of posts ready to go. So there's more to come there soon. I have not forgotten you lovely blog followers. But yeah, I like to write about creativity and all that kind of stuff there. But I have like a kickoff to Inktober post coming that way. Oh man, you ready to comment like that with spoilers? And I can't say anything? Guys, you gotta watch Odari's streaming. He just talked about a new character. And it sounds amazing. Oh my goodness gracious. I love seeing the creative stuff that people are doing. So good. Oh my goodness gracious. That's another thing I would love to do, is like a comic book or something like that. But again, I need to have a story and all this kind of fun stuff. What I need is like many more hours in a day is what I actually need. Spooktober's coming. Yes, I remember you mentioning this. Yes, I'm going to keep an eye out for that as well because that looks like a lot of fun. I also messaged Dan Odari. I messaged him on Behance after the live last week. I haven't heard back. My Instagram's been in and out. I think my phone's just going to die on me at some point. I couldn't get anything DMs through Instagram, but I did message him on Behance, but I haven't heard back. But I'm going to follow up this week because I would be very interested in that versus challenge he has going on at some point. So many things. Oops. Okay. So I see a few new people coming on. This is pretty, it feels a little routine, but it's very relaxing because I'm just filling in the spaces. I'm adding the highlights to add extra depth to this dragon here to really emphasize the effect of the stained glass piece. So I'm very excited to see it all come together. I'm feeling really good about the kind of rhythm I found here. Like, because I'm each illustration, I'm kind of growing a little bit more with each one. But having the style like kind of nailed down or being confident in it is really, I think it helps me to push these illustrations to be a lot more complex. Like the, hey Paul, how's it going? So with the original illustrations, like I said, we did the circus. And so it was a little simpler, but I was still figuring out the style because I'd only done the owl before. And I think I did the highlights and shadows backwards, or I decided I did them backwards when I looked at it again. So I was still figuring out the style on the smaller illustrations, but as I got more confident in the style, I felt I could push the line art, as you can see, even further. So a lot of people say like there's lots of different areas of thought, I think, on this, where like, you know, if your best work is behind you, like there was one artist at Max a couple years ago and she said, if your best work's behind you, then like why are you still doing it? But I think like even though I might have this kind of style nailed down, wow, is that amazing. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that. I'm living for this. It's so exciting. So even though I might have this style nailed down, air quotes, it's not necessarily that I'm not learning from it still. I can still learn from it, but it also allows me to really push this really far. So that's my favorite thing, is see how far I can push this. And then if I find, oh, you know what, these aren't exciting anymore, I'll try a different style. But right now I'm really able to push this and I'm so stoked about it. My son said your dragon looks sick. He loves it. Sick. Wicked. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. So fun. Loving the feedback. But yeah, so there's like different things, like if the style's not serving you, but I think if like everything wasn't serving me, like if I did a whole piece and was like, that was okay, then maybe like, yeah, might be time to stop. But right now, I have so many more possibilities for this. Excuse you. Come here, please. Where's Mojo? Thank you. Go boy. Mojo says hello, guys. You just settle, buddy. You're okay. So I think I mentioned I have the Kraken printed and it's at my desk because that's how I feel at work right now, is have all of my fingers in a whole bunch of pots at work. But looking at the layers on this one, oh my gosh, I think I'm gonna have to print it too. I'm gonna run out of space. I want to see it at real size because this is an 18 by 24 too. So this one's a bit of a beast. Really excited. Always safe. coming together. Oh my goodness gracious. Like looking at this one, like this one, the stained glass is coming together really nicely. But like without those, this is one of the first. Actually, I wonder what happens if I turn this off. Oh, a lot of the depth is gone. But I feel like this is one of the first ones. Like I've done this dark shadow thing, but this is one of the ones where like I really think that paper layering effect is really coming through. Like I feel like that's always kind of been my goal, is to kind of have it look like layers of paper that are kind of separated. Like, you know, that paper, there's all kinds of paper art that like the shadows really play into the final result. That's always been my goal, to have that kind of look. That was kind of what inspired me from the start. But this is one I think it's really come together in a really exciting way. So fun. Hey Moj, do you want to leave the neighbors alone maybe? It's the one downside to like a bit of a road trip. He forgets how, you know, we lived here hours before. So we have to relearn some things. Or he's making up for lost hours of barking at the neighbors. He feels they are owed some more maybe. Who knows? Oh my gosh, we're already at 7:40. How'd that happen? Oh my goodness. Other thing coming up, Adobe Max soon. Very exciting business. I'm going to be a virtual attendee this year. Come here, bud. And that's okay, because then I can watch everything almost immediately. Hey, Moj. Leave them alone, bud. You're fine. So that's exciting. I like to see always what they're coming out with, what new things, what new features. Always very exciting. What's happening? What is this? Oh, this is a big shadow. Okay, let's see if we can erase that while I'm looking at it. Can you just leave them alone, bud? There we go. So I was going to miss that. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Back. So yeah, I always love Adobe Max. I always find like this time of the year, like I said, I'm feeling creatively different right now. But the past 2 years, it's kind of been a good Kickstarter for some creative juices, just to see like, oh, what the softwares can do and what other creators are doing and all that kind of fun stuff. I don't know how the virtual schedule is going to look this year. I know like the past couple of years they've had quite a bit, but when I first took a look a few months ago, there wasn't as much on the virtual, because they obviously want people to go in person and buy tickets, but there still look like some decent content. So I haven't looked recently, and that this will be a better time to look because it's closer to they booked everybody. So for those of you who don't know, Adobe Max is free virtually. You don't have access to the labs or anything, like when you go in and learn the software and the new features and new tools and all that kind of stuff. So you don't have access to that. But like in the past years, you've been able to listen in on different creative talks, people using Photoshop or using, for example, Photoshop, but all the software has its turn, and how they use it. So like how people use Photoshop for their Instagram, and how people things do on social media, and then how people use some of the new AI features for virtual reality, whatever it is. So whatever might be interesting to you, there's going to be something. So I'm hoping it'll be similar this year, because usually like the creativity talks, that's kind of what it usually fuels my blog posts for the year because I'm really big on creativity and the fact that everybody has it. So, yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I like to see what other people are doing, and it's a big cluster. I wouldn't like a big cluster of different creative minds and creative thoughts and things like that, which is always exciting to me. I'd like to go 1 year, but it's a big trip in usually a chaotic work time. So we'll see. Okay. Take this off. Creativity talks. Love that saying. Yeah, it's a huge thing for me. I think it's because as an artist, I get a lot of people saying like, oh, I can't even draw stick figures or anything like that. And I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to. But I think everybody's got a degree of creativity going on somewhere. It doesn't like creativity usually comes to like your first thought is like arts and like what we're doing here today. But really, creativity is like an original thought. So I feel like everybody can claim creativity. It just might not be what you first think of as it. So, yeah. Creativity talks. Another t-shirt. I don't know how, like, I don't really know the finer details of the nature of the work you do, Odari, but I would just be making my own t-shirts all day long. Like, oh, I want one that says this, and I want one that says this. It's out of control. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right, let's do these 3 more and then we'll see. I want to try and have it on the right angle as much as possible. Otherwise I might accidentally put one a little off kilter, a little too off kilter, and it will look weird. It'll definitely stand out. All right, so 1 more and then we'll see. Like my show, Hey BC Sundays, always be creative. I like that. Yeah, maybe I should change what the live is called. Creativity Talks. We do talk a lot of creative things. It's true stories. I will definitely contemplate that. More branding t-shirts. Alrighty. See what we got happening here. Oh my goodness gracious. Alright, so let's turn it off and turn it back on again. Guys, it's looking so good. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness. I'm living. Guys. All right. So I want to do a little bit more. Now I did intentionally, what I'm going to do, I did intentionally put these on different layers. I'm going to put the highlights just under his eyes here first because I want to see how those play with the dark shadow. So let's just do these couple little sections here and then see what we're looking at. Because normally, for those of you who are new to the stained glass, effect that I'm doing here, normally I'd be doing these highlights without those big, like I would do it with these little dark shadows, but not those big intense ones that I have. Usually those are my last effect, but just for what I was hoping to get done here, I really wanted to put those in early just to make sure that those layerings were in the right place, because I was a little bit worried that the paper layering wasn't going to come across properly, or that maybe I had like put my hierarchy in kind of an odd spot once we put the color on. So that's why I did those intense shadows first, just so we could do any tweaks that may need to be done earlier on rather than after the illustration is like 70% done. Oops. That did not seem to do anything too weird, so that's good. Trying to think. All right, a few more sections here, and then we'll see if this doing this out of order has paid off here. And then I think what I'll do is I'll try and make some more progress on the highlights this week so that you're not watching me do all of this again, whole another hour, but then we can maybe do some of those final like effects that I've been kind of talking about and hoping will work, but I don't know if they will yet. But we can find out together. Alrighty. I don't know about you guys, but it's been crazy windy around here. And like wicked weird. Like it's been sun showering all day. I didn't have my sunglasses because it was gonna rain, and then it didn't rain until it was like sunny outside. Now it's crazy windy. I just know what's going on. Crazy huge rainbows this morning though, which was kind of fun. I haven't seen like a solid rainbow in a long time, so that was pretty cool. Super windy, which is great because like I'm excited to sleep in the cool air tonight. That's my favorite thing. Curl up under the blankets, make cozy things. All right, let's see. Okay, so we have the highlights where I want to put them. Fingers crossed. Yeah, bud. Okay, so let's just turn these off. Yes. Okay, that's awesome. So the reason why I do want, even though there's a heavy shadow there, I still want those highlights showing up, because like on a plate of stained glass on its own, there's that section of the eyes, the light would still be trying to shine through. So it's the two shadows kind of impacting on one another, in my head anyway. Like, again, this isn't real, this dragon stained glass, but I still want to make sure that those highlights are peeking through where they would. And so rather than having to think about it, about like where a shadow should go, I just let my layers do that work for me, and kind of get that extra layering in. Because if I do find eventually that those heavy shadows are too dark, I can always pull them back. I don't think I'm going to do that. I really love how intense they are, especially against all of the detail that we have here. So yeah, this is really, really coming together nicely. All right, we'll let him stare at you here for a little bit while I put on some more highlights. Let's do it. And now I know my mom is on the stream. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. And my mom pointed a thing out, and I can't unsee it. And I haven't fixed it yet. It's on my to-do list. It's just all the paper files layers are smooshed. This doesn't look right. Hang on. All the paper layers are mooshed. So I am gonna fix this. But I'll show you in a second. Just one second. Didn't see any rainbows this morning. That blows my mind because they live over the bridge for me. Yeah, we're not too far apart, and we saw like it was crazy. It was like the brightest rainbow I've seen in the longest time. It was just crazy. Okay, so are you guys ready to see the thing that my mom showed me? I'm gonna fix it. I didn't see this until she pointed it out. So we have our dragon, and these are his eyeballs. But if you look at it like this, it looks like those are his eyeballs at the top. Can you see it? Come here, buddy. Leave them alone. Come here. Can you see it? So he looks a little googly-eyed and wonky. I had left this white because I wanted it to be like beads or some sort of jewel or something like that. And but it looks like googly eyes instead because it's just white, which is hilarious. So I'm gonna fix it. My paper layers are just like I said, they're all just mooshed onto one layer to keep the file small. I do have plans because there's a couple other paper things I do want to fix in this layering. Come here, bud. In these layers, so that's gonna be an afternoon thing that I go and do by myself. Come here, bud. Okay. Mom, Dad, Ozari says hello. Behance says hello to Facebook. Facebook says hello to Instagram. Instagram says hello to Behance and back around. All the socials are talking to one another. I love it. So yeah, do you see the googly eyes? It's pretty hilarious. So I haven't been able to unsee it, but I do plan to fix it. For right now, we'll look at his scary eyes instead. Oh my goodness gracious. This is why I like the live a lot. Because, oh, Jesus. Sorry. Sorry, I was drawing on the paper patterns. You come stay with me, Brooke? Come here, handsome man. Oh, you're in like the toughest. I did see 2 sets of eyes, yeah. So, and unfortunately, like, I'm usually down for some sort of camouflage set of eyes. It happened with an octopus drawing I did years ago. Hey! Mom says hello, Odari. Oh my goodness. Everybody's talking to one another. I love it. Look at this little fun group we have here. So yeah, it happened by accident. I did this Zentangle octopus that I did years ago. And it happened by accident that I got like this camouflage eye. So he had his eye there, but then like I put a flower where like a normal like camouflage eye, kind of like an orca, has those big white spots that kind of look like eyes. So it worked out really well, but in the case of this one, we've got a wonky situation happening. Mom says, I didn't mean you to tell everyone, just my opinion, his real eyes are awesome. Yeah, no, I just like one of those things I can't unsee, and I'm just like, it's so fun. And like, this is why I like these collaborative things. This is why I love the live. Because people see things I don't. Like, I'm pretty buried in this guy when I'm working on it. And, like, as you can see, I'm working really close. So you guys get to see that step back or look at it with fresh eyes. You're not looking at it all week. So these feedback things are amazing. And I think it's hilarious that I created that. That 2 sets of eyes. So, hey, maybe the camouflage will work. We'll see once we get all the color out. But it's just... what are those really things I didn't see? So that, again, this is why the live is great. I like to hear from everybody. Show me things I do not see. All right, finish these little sections and then I will let you all get back to your evening. So yeah, further proof that even if you're not doing a live stream or anything like that, it never hurts to have another person take a look at your piece, just because they might see something you don't see. I mean, maybe it's like, hey, the googly eyes may stay because it's a cool effect. Maybe it's his magic power, his illusion camouflage situation. But I probably wouldn't have noticed that ever, and then printed it, and then that would be all I could see. It's so fun. So yeah, bounce a piece off somebody every now and again. Never hurts. That is one thing that I do miss from the school environment. We did lots of critiques. And like usually because we did so many of them, that we did so many of them, like it's all respectful and people were able to take it and stuff like that. You don't get like defensive or anything about these things, but it was always good because it just like bounced the ideas off everybody, and like they'll see something you don't like. What if you did blue? What if you did whatever? They should stay. Googly eyes should stay. So maybe they should stay. I think that would be pretty amazing. But it's just one of those funny things that you never see before. But yeah, that's a critique. So it's just a point. Maybe it stays, maybe it doesn't. They're all good. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the critiques at school are always really great because it's good feedback and have people bounce ideas off one another and like, oh, they tried this, I should try that, and this and that and stuff. It's always good bouncing some ideas off people. It's always a good call. All right, let's turn that off and see how we're doing. Guys. Oh my goodness. I live. I'm really, really excited about how this is coming out, guys. Not tooting my own horn. I'm like legit stoked about how this is coming together. This is awesome. Okay. So I feel like I'm getting a little rambly. So I think I'm going to let you guys go for the evening. I'm going to go chill out with Mojo. We'll go watch some Only Murders in the Building or something like that. We're going to chill for the night. But yeah, this is where we're at. So lots of highlights left to come. But already we've made some wicked progress because I feel like the stuff that's all in this front part of the face is really key because obviously it's right up front. And the first thing that you see. So that's all coming together. So I'm feeling confident about how the rest will come. We'll see how the light, like the color choices come through, because I do find that the shadow's usually the one that grays it out, but the highlights could do a bit of washing too. So we'll be careful with those. So I'm going to do my best to get a lot more of these highlights done next week, or at least get us to a point where we can start playing with some of the effects that I have envisioned for our eyes and things like that. Maybe when they come out, we'll need those camouflage eyes coming through. It's just like the first time I saw it, I was just really surprised. But it also kind of works at the same time. So we'll see what happens. I love it. Not really certain about these shadows I have in the ears. They're a little green, no? Okay. I'll sort that self out later. The highlight might help us there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hit save for now. And I'm going to let everybody get on with their evening. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I do love this kind of like cross socials situation we have right now, which is so fun. Yeah, I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate your follows, all that kind of fun stuff. Like I said, I do have some shop updates coming in the next couple weeks. So please keep an eye out on those. I'm going to be blasting all that kind of stuff out. I'm just waiting on a couple more answers and a couple more things to fall into place. And then you are going to be sick of hearing from me. That's for sure. So, yeah, I think that'll be good. Designing a logo for a client tonight. Time to work. Get back to work, everybody. Time to work. If you have, I'm going to work on your piece a little bit later, Odari, later in the week. But if you have any feedback or notes or things you'd like to see as far as direction goes from what you last saw, please let me know. I'm just kind of working on it in between things, not letting it go stale. But if you get to a point of like a deadline or something, let's chat. But we can take that offline and chat about that later. Yeah. So for those of you who are new here, thank you for tuning in. And I do this every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on all of these fabulous socials. So feel free to follow and come back next week. I'd love to hear from you. Have a great evening, everyone. Have a great week. And I'll talk to you all next week. Bye.